Good morning, students. I, Tanuja Kiran from Usha Martin World School, welcome you all in our class 11th Physical Education. Today we are going to discuss about Paralympics and deaflympics. Now, first, students, we are going to discuss about Paralympic. Paralympic Games are a major international multi-sports events for the athletes with various disability, such as athletes with mobility disability, amputations, blindness, and cerebral palsy. Paralympic Games are held at an interval of every 4 years following the Olympic Games. These games are governed by the International Paralympics Committee. The first Paralympic Games were held in Rome 1960. However, the Paralympic word was used officially in 1988 Summer Olympic Games, which were held in Seoul. These were Summer Paralympic Games. The first Winter Paralympic Games were held in 1976 in Sweden. The Winter Paralympic Games are also held after every 4 years. Now its opening ceremony. The opening ceremony begins with the hosting of the host country's flag and rendition of its national anthem. After the national anthem, the athletes come for march past into the stadium, grouped according to their nations. All the nations enter the stadium alphabetically according to the host country's chosen language. However, the host country's athletes enter last into the stadium. After that, host nations presents its cultures in the form of music, dance, and singing etc. Formal opening of the games is announced. At last, Paralympic torch is brought into the stadium and passed on until it reaches to the final torch bearer who finally lights the Paralympics flame. Now its closing ceremony. After the conclusion of all the sports events, the closing ceremony begins. Flag bearers from each participating country enter the stadium, followed by the athletes who entered together without any national distinction. The Paralympics flag is taken down, the games are officially closed, and the Paralympics flame is extinguished. Now, International Paralympic Committee. It is a global governing body of the Paralympic movement. The International Paralympic Committee organizes the Summer and Winter Paralympic Games. It also serves as the international federation for 9 sports, for which it survived. The coordinates the World Championship and other competitions. Its vision is to enable Paralympic athletes to achieve supporting excellence and inspire and excite the world. It was established on 22 September 1989. Its headquarters is in Bonn, Germany. Its main aim is to develop sports opportunities for all the people with an impairment from the beginner to the elite level. Now, categories of disability. The International Paralympic Committee has established 10 disability categories, including physical, visual, and intellectual impairment. Athletes with one of these disabilities can participate in the Paralympic Games. Though not every sport can allow for every disability category. Physical impairment or disability includes impaired muscle power, impaired passive range of movement, loss of limb, leg length difference, short structure, etc. Visual impairment includes impairment of one or more component of visual system. Intellectual disability includes the significant impairment of intellectual functioning. The International Paralympics Committee mainly serves athletes with physical and visual disabilities, whereas intellectual disability has been added to some Paralympic Games. Now, students, deaflympics. Earlier, the deaflympics used to be called World Games for the Deaf. The deaflympics are an international Olympic Committee sanctioned event in which deaf athletes compete at an elite level. In deaflympics, the starter's gun, bullhorn, command or refer whistles are not used and as seen in the Olympics. The Paralympics and the Special Olympics flags or any visual signal are used to alert the participants. These games have been organized by the International Committee of Sports for the Deaf since the first event. The Deaflympics are more than just the world's second oldest multiple sports after Olympics. These games are the world's fastest growing sports events. The Deaflympics are held once in 4 years. The first games held in Paris, France in 1924 were also the first ever international sporting event for athletes with a disability since 1924. These games have been held persistently after every 4 years. However, these games were not held twice due to World War II. Deaflympics Winter Games started in 1949 in 1924 in Paris. Only 148 athletes from 9 European countries participated in these games from 1924 to 1965. These games were officially called the International Games for the Deaf, and sometimes these games were called the International Silent Games from 1966 to 1999. They were called the World Games for the Deaf. Occasionally, they were also referred to as the World Silent Games. Since 2001, these games are known as Deaflympics. The motto of Deaflympics is equality through sports. Till now, the Deaflympics have been hosted by 36 cities in 21 countries. The main purpose of Deaflympics is to provide opportunities to persons with hearing disability to participate in allied sports. The athletes who have a hearing loss of at least 55 decibel in their better ear are allowed to participate in Deaflympics. Hearing aid, cochlear implants, etc. are not allowed to be used in the competition. Now students, sports in summer Deaflympics. Athletes, badminton, basketball, beach volleyball, bowling, cycling road, football, handball, judo, karate, orienteering, shooting, swimming, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, volleyball, water polo, wrestling freestyle, and wrestling Greco-Roman. Now, sports in Winter Deaflympics. Alpine skiing, cross-country skiing, curling, ice hockey, snowboard. Now, thank you students.